he says, embrace myself, let go of everything that I've done. He also says to cross out what I've become. So he's not saying that he didn't do anything wrong. He's saying that he's coming face to face with the things that he's done that made him who he was or who he is, and he's going to embrace himself for whatever comes with it, and then he's going to cross that self out. And it sounds easier said than done, right? But we're not just going to pretend like it didn't happen. We're not going to pretend, we're not going to go, oh, that's the old me, I don't do that anymore. Because 9 times out of 10, that's still the and that you will do it again. So you have to come face to face with this person who you are in order to cross it out, right? When you think of crossing something out, though, you think of putting a line through it. It's still there. You can't erase yourself. You can't erase pieces of yourself, but you can cross it out. You can meet it, greet it, and say, hey, look, accept the things that you've done when you were wearing that suit, but hey, this is not who I want to be anymore. You know, got to communicate with it, with yourself. If not, you will be in miscommunication, and that's one of the worst things that you can do when it comes to communication, is miscommunicate. Sometimes it's even better to not communicate than to miscommunicate sometimes. And it's like we can't help but to communicate with ourselves. We're always in communication with ourselves, no matter if we see it or not, consciously or not. Got to be able to have the type of language, you know, for that understand, you know, figure out which one it is you want to cross out. Embrace whatever comes with what it is that you, so that way you can do debt, right? Once you pay off your debt, you no longer owe anymore. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you pay off your debt and then more debt comes. No, you don't have more debt to come unless you borrow again, unless you take from again. Then you have more debt. There's no such thing as debt for life. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't be, as far as James' version of the Bible goes, there shouldn't be any debt, as I'm concerned. But whatever. I think that's true there, because there are debt. There's that we have in different past lives that we and in us. Please, fucked up. But hey, you know, whatever. You can't change, and if we can't, then change. But right now we don't worry about that. We worry about what we can change, and what we can change is the way that we think about things. What we can change is of who we don't want to be anymore. We can change those things, eliminate them. We can cross them out. You know, there it serves it is no longer in the front row anymore. See what I'm saying? It goes to the back. You know, and it's used and they'll be used accordingly. But they no longer serve our front seats anymore. Those are occupied for a better version of ourselves, advanced version of ourselves. You know, saying that those other pieces of ourselves are not good or that they're worthless or whatever. No, they're not like that. They serve their purpose, and more than likely, they serve the times. You know, the ones that we're trying to cross out are the ones who got us through some of the most bullshitest fucking bullshit. You see what I'm saying? The thing is that go into the whoops, and then you try to bring it back home, and it might bite your hand. Why? Because it's used to being out there with wolves. Okay, adapt to the wolf life. It had to be like wolf. It needed to be strong. It needed to be at times, you know, more aggressive, because it had to get by in a wolf world. And so when you try to tame it and bring it back and try to make it a house dog, it you know, dog no more. It's a wolf. And so do you just throw the dog away? Do with it. But the thing is for that dog going out into the wolf world, you would have been thrown to the wolves, and you probably hated it, because you're not a dog, you're not a wolf on 4 feet. You know? If you gotten thrown to the wolves, you would have probably got tore the fuck up. I'm just saying. So learn empathy, you know, what it needs to be the best, and how I help it to be comfortable in its new form, in its new life. I wouldn't throw it in the front. I wouldn't put it and have it hard my, you know. I would do things that I need it for it to do on the ranch, everyday thing, you know, because of metal. You know, I would definitely wouldn't. It's good, you know, but it would just help it be more comfortable, until it's, you know. But you do it. So what I'm trying to say is that ourselves that we cross, you know, they're still there. I mean, I wouldn't ignore. I would be more empathetic to them, but I'm back burner a little bit, you know. Not to say do not ignore them. Give them the attention that they need. But cool, you know, on the front row anymore, you know. Embrace for the consequences. Embrace yourself for the that come with the things that you've done in life. You know, for action, you know, positive or negative. I know, because that there's the evil of this world, right? To take that into consideration when it comes down to making the judgment call for the consequences or for the reaction of their actions. And I want to say that as long as the has awareness, a higher consciousness, higher and their heart matches the frequency of their meaning, they're in full communication with the divine, with the universe, with their higher power, with the creator. I think if their heart and their awareness, I believe, or the reaction divine of the universe isn't going that of the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because to be aware of what you would have to, whatever it is that came about in your mind, the thought, ponder on it, in consideration of what the consequences are going to be, and this is not, you know what I'm saying? Then do I think that what's to come from that? I honestly think that it would be something that is as opposed to, you know, somebody just dry acting some fucked up ass shit, and their heart and their awareness is not aligned, and they're doing it out of hate, out of the place of hate. Consequences will be extreme, and because it is to awaken their awareness and their consciousness to go, hey, see what you did? It didn't work out for you. You weren't supposed to do that. And the only way to do is that shit up, you know? So drastic. Because sometimes people do things and they think it's in their mind, their heart, or whatever. To them, it was the right thing to do. Intentions, just because you think it's the right thing to do, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Will know that it was wrong thing to do. Fuck up. You will be woke up. And so I'll stick something big that gets you to see that, and not even just to see that, to your awareness, to path. Even the wicked, okay, mind, because it was so drastic for them. They go, whoa, I'm listening. And will they learn the lesson that is to be learned? And when they're learning that lesson, in the midst of that, will they grow warmth in their hearts? And in the end result is to the divine for all the love that it showed, and that the divine shows too, for awakening their consciousness and giving them the awareness they need to never do it again. Be that much that it takes the most route to get you to see how much you love. Fortunately, rude awakening, because it's a bonus to meet and to be committed with your creator, and to see what it is that truly loves you, and where you stand and where your roots are. That is a bonus. You hear me? But it will, because the divine white is so bright. Your bone, your skin, your flesh, it'll burn your eyes out of your sockets. I'm being asked to close, but every action that we take, we need to make sure that we are in alignment with the Most High. We need to ask ourselves and meditate on it. Is this the right thing to do? Because just because it's your good intentions, just because you have, that's fine. But you have to embrace what's to come from that. Okay? So we really careful on the things, because just because it's are going to be what's on the menu, be what's on the schedule to do. See what I'm saying? And I'm learning this, okay, about it. Being a carer, right thing to do. It's on the schedule for that day, not for you, maybe. So ourselves, in alignment with the Most High, we need to be in alignment with the universe. We need to be in alignment with our Holy Spirit. Inner work, healing first is my recommendation. I'm self too. Actually, I'm talking to myself because I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna learn from it. Right now, I'm planting a seed in myself, or the Most High within me, right? And I'm not the one of us is going through one thing. There's a bunch of us that are going through the same thing at the same time. We're not alone. Go through at the same time. It's unreal. You know, support and trauma and all good shit that comes along with that gets us to stay quiet and not teach. And when we don't learn, cannot let you teach of the room and just soak up knowledge. You can't. You've got. That's a way that is. People have different ways of learning, and that's one of mine. So therefore, I know that if then it's other people as well. Not everyone, but there are other people that are like me who may have that same learning way of learning. Anyways.